Hello, Lucerne. Greetings to you from the middle of the United States in Sioux City, Iowa. I hope that you are all enjoying my friend Leslie Worden as much as I do. I'm very excited that you had the opportunity to meet with her and to be able to take a class from her. But I will be really excited when she comes back to the States. She contacted me and asked if I would provide a short video for you on social media in the classroom. And since I do teach a course where I use social media quite often as means of learning tools in my class, it was fairly easy for me to come up with things that I could talk about with you. So I'm going to start off by talking about one of my favorites, and not only for education, but just for fun. I feel like I can lose myself in Pinterest for hours at a time. I actually require my students to create a Pinterest account where they can pin all kinds of educational resources, anything from tips on differentiated instruction to information on instructional design to lesson plans. It's all over the place on Pinterest. Teachers are very willing to put information on Pinterest to pin things and share things very willingly. Like I said, I require all my students, even the male students, to do this. And frequently when they're at a loss for what to do in their lessons, I tell them to go to Pinterest because there's just that much good information on there, good starting points for information for students. Another social media tool that we use is Twitter. I'm not from the generation of Twitter, and I'm slow to embrace Twitter, but I definitely see its benefits. I have my students create a Twitter account and find people to follow in their field so that they can keep receiving the latest and the greatest of information coming from people, experts in the field. I also use Twitter in the classroom as a sort of a back channel, as we call it. So when I am talking or when other students are talking, my students will tweet something. It works on concision for them. And they may tweet a question, or they may tweet something that they've heard that they find to be very interesting. And then I use a tweet deck to pull together all of the tweets hashtagged at a certain hashtag. So for me, it's hashtag EDUC321. So my students are using Twitter as well. Blogs. I've had students use blogs. I know Leslie is a blogger herself. I'm not so much a blogger, but blogging is another excellent way for students to use social media. LinkedIn is another social media thingy, if you want to call it that. More of a professional network, but a network nonetheless. And so I like to see my students get on LinkedIn to make sure that they are making those professional connections. That it's not a personal thing, it's not fun and games, it's definitely geared toward the professional. One that is used very readily by educators and by students is YouTube. I find myself going to YouTube quite often to try to find videos for class. I also have my students create videos and upload them and share them publicly. So that way they get through that publishing stage of creating a project. And it's not just for someone in class, it is for a wider audience as well. Skype is another social media tool. If we could get our times figured out, it would be kind of fun to Skype with you. And what a great way to open up the world of education. I think I had a student 2 years ago who Skyped another student from Spain for one of her lessons in my class. And so it was really awesome to see, the power of Skype. We were talking with someone in Spain during our class period. And I think that really brings the world very close together. A couple of other little ones that maybe are not considered as much social media tools as what we would think, but definitely social media. There's a tool called ThingLink, which is really kind of fun. I had my students create a ThingLink in order to introduce themselves in my class, and that can be published as well. Wordle. I love Wordles and word clouds. That's something, if you're not familiar with it, go ahead and Google it, and you'll find yourself really enjoying creating Wordles. And just, it's a visual depiction for how we can talk about things that are important. And so, in this short video, I see I'm almost at 5 minutes, and that was the time limit Leslie gave me. I use a lot of social media in my classes, and I am not the kind of teacher who's going to tell students to put away their phones or put away their iPads or put away their computers, because quite frankly, they are digital natives and it is a part of them. And if I, quite honestly, cannot teach a class where I'm going to engage my students in the technology and they get on the technology themselves, then that's really my fault and not theirs. I use social media to enhance what we do in the classroom. And instead of making them power down as they come to class, I allow them to power up and use this media for educational purposes. So I hope you got a little something out of my 5-minute video for Leslie. Again, I am really happy that you have the opportunity to meet her, but I can't wait for Leslie to come home.